Hey guys, this is not meant to be a regular video, but since I've gotten so much outreach from various folks, I figured I'd just post this up to give you a quick update on what's going on and how we're doing. So in case you haven't heard, just a couple of days ago, we had a massive flood here in Peacham, Vermont. The state of Vermont had some flooding issues as a whole, but it was nowhere near as bad for the state as it was last year. But here specifically in Peacham, where our farm is, and even more specifically here in South Peacham, which is where like our farm is and where we live and all that, it's just been absolutely devastating. Right behind me here was basically a river the night of the flooding. Did you guys look at that? Holy crap. Whoa. On the other side, kind of the other stream that we have on the farm was even worse. The damage has been horrific. I have several neighbors who have, spent the last couple days just even trying to help clean out houses and move stuff around for them. Like, for example, we've been driving possessions from neighbors whose houses have been flooded out of the area. And because of the flood, accessing certain houses is almost impossible. So it's like going through this crazy network of pastures and trails to get back and forth with loads of stuff that either need to go to the dump or hopefully be saved for people because like all their stuff got flooded. And I really can't overstate enough how complex it's been moving some of the possessions out of these houses that are completely inaccessible by roads because of the floodwaters. So for example, my neighbors, the Mackenzies, were horribly affected by the flood. They're this amazing family who are just the nicest folk in the world. There are a couple teachers at one of the local high schools, and their house was absolutely decimated. And in fact, there's a GoFundMe for the Mackenzies, and if you want to donate to them, please, by all means, they can definitely use the help. I'll leave a QR code right here on the screen, and there'll be a link down below. Now, for those of you guys wondering how our farm fared during the flooding, we were very, very lucky and really had minimal damage and minimal issues. It's time to do the evening chores. We're having a little bit of rain. Just a little bit. I'll make a whole video talking about that and what happened and giving you a glimpse into what it was like on the farm that night. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about our community, how hard it was affected, and just how much help it actually needs. Gotcha. All right, you're going back in with your mom. There you go. I'm locking you guys up for the night. So my buddy Zach has a farm down the road from me, and sometimes I farm sit for him. And well, Zach's farm was hit so hard. And this is the second year in a row that it's happened for him. And this year's flood has been absolutely catastrophic. Zach actually had 500 chicks that he had down in the basement of his barn that were only about a week old, and the barn flooded. He was able to save about 100, but lost 400 of those chicks. It's just so heartbreaking to see what he's going through. And so there's also a GoFundMe out there for him and his farm, and so you should check that out. I'll leave the QR code here as well as the link down below. Several other folks in town were also significantly affected in life-altering ways. And in order to help all of those folks out, the town's established an emergency relief fund, which you can actually donate to by just watching this video. This video is intended to be a fundraiser for that fund. And you can also use this QR code to donate as well. Either way works. And all of that money goes to help the folks here in our town, which has been so heavily affected by the flood. As a town, we're trying to pull together to try to get these folks any help that they need. And while people losing their possessions and having their homes destroyed and being displaced is very sad and in a very difficult situation, the unquestionably most tragic thing that's happened through the course of this is the night of the flood. One of my neighbors, just an awesome guy, friend by the name of Dylan, who is a farmer, and he was out checking on things, and during the flash flooding, he was killed. And I don't know, I think our entire community here is still just trying to process the event because it is so tragic. He was a husband, he was a father, he had 2 little kids under the age of 4. He worked really closely with his family to run their multi-generational farm. And their family, I can't even try to articulate this in the video, but they are the absolute backbone of this community. I can't think of anybody who's more generous, more helpful, and just made more of a difference in this community than that family. And Dylan himself was just such an incredible guy. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think, like I said, any of us have been able to process what that means and how to handle that. And I can't even imagine what that family is going through right now. And yeah, it has just been very, very hard here in Peacham over the last few days. And not trying to shine over or gloss over that, I think the one positive that I feel like I have seen over the last few days has been just how as a community, the people of Peacham have come together and worked together and to help the folks who are in need and really do anything and everything they can to put folks back on their feet and try to get things to a place where people can even just think about what they're going to do as their next steps. And so we've kind of hit through that first wave of just rescue and assessment and figuring out what the heck's going on here. And now as everybody stands back and looks at the damage and the totals and what's happened, there's just going to be so many people who need help and so many people who are going to need support. And so I really could ask any of you guys, again, either any of the GoFundMes I've mentioned, or even you guys can click the donate button here or links in bios, depending on where you're watching this. And really anything you can do, it's greatly appreciated by all of these folks and by this entire community. The other thing I wanted to announce is I'm going to be doing a 24-hour live stream starting Friday, July 19th at 1 p.m. And that live stream is going to run all the way to Saturday at 1 p.m. And would love if you join. We'll try to make it fun. It'll be, if you guys remember the live stream we did last year where we raised over $25,000 for the Farmer Emergency Relief Fund for the flood that happened last year in Vermont. And so we're going to be raising money for the Peacham Emergency Relief Fund here on that live stream. And so would love it if you guys could join. There will be some special guests. And so, yeah, I think this is going to give you guys an opportunity to have a good time as well as make a difference in this community. And also just as another note, just know that because I've been so occupied the last couple of days, my video publishing schedule might get a little funky and just ask for your grace and forgiveness until kind of things try to stabilize a little bit more here in Peacham. And yeah, thank you guys. And you are always so generous, and it makes me so appreciative to have you folks as part of a community too. And so for that, I just say thank you.